time now. It is time now. Now. It is time to play.
What's good, YouTube? EasyNow1337 aka Snow here today with a bit of a serious commentary. Now what I'm going to talk about today, guys, is the full extent of my life with epilepsy, and I am doing this is because the first time I'd done a commentary about epilepsy got such a good reaction amongst my subscribers that I thought I would go into it further. Now it's going to be quite a sad story, so please stick along. Please stick with me, because I'm going to bring it back in the end to be a good story. So first and foremost, the ground rules: any negative or troll comments towards me will be removed and you'll be blocked from my YouTube instantly. So don't even try and make a joke, because I will just block you straight away, because this is a serious thing for me, and I have actually never spoken about this to anyone in my whole life, because what I'm about to tell you now, guys, is what goes through my head constantly. The thoughts that are in my mind all the time in my life, and they're very personal to me. So this is a great way for you guys to feel connected to me, to learn about me, and hopefully learn something about epilepsy as well. Now before I could tell you the effects and stuff, I have to tell you how it happened. Now I had a couple of people ask me about this, and it's not something I wanted to discuss, but if I don't discuss how it happened, then there's no point in doing the effects either. So what it was, guys, I was in school, what we call secondary school over here in the UK. It's when you're I was about 15, 16 years old in the last couple of years of secondary school, and this is going up towards my GCSE exams, which is probably one of the most important first times of your life exams. So the first time you ever have really big exams are your GCSEs. And the story behind it was, as far as I know it, because I'm still not completely clear on how or why it happened, but from what I've learned over the years, basically at the time I was really close to a girl in school, and we were really good friends and we liked each other a lot. And at the time I did not know that she had a boyfriend, and as far as I know, she dumped her boyfriend to be with me. Now I never knew this, I never tried to split them up, I didn't know she had a boyfriend. All I knew was that one day these people came down to school to get me. Now it was around my birthday, actually. It was because my birthday is November the 26th. It was about 2 weeks after, because on my actual birthday there was apparently a group of about 20 guys waiting for me outside school. Now I was told by a mutual friend to go home a different way, and so I don't cross their paths. But at the time these were all acquaintances of mine as well, like friends of friends, so I thought they were just down to give me birthday beatings, so I didn't think much of it. Now when I got home and I went online to onto AOL Messenger, this is how old this story is, I got messages and stuff, threatening messages, and I was a bit confused by them, so I was still young then. I didn't really understand what was going on. And then a couple of weeks later, a couple of guys come down to school and they beat me up. And now for me it was a really hard time, because I'd been in fights before, and this fight was the only other fight in my entire life to this day that I've ever backed down from, because I don't back down from fights. But this was a serious fight, because these guys are in a gang. They were in a gang, and they knew where I went to school, and I lived less than a mile away from that school, so they probably knew where I lived as well. So if I were to fight back, I knew there was going to be further consequences to that. So the very moment I felt that first punch hit my face, I knew this was going to happen, and I had nothing. I couldn't do anything. I was powerless, and it happened, and I got beat up. And then I think it was about a month after that I started to have attacks. So, and then after that I got diagnosed, and I'll get into that a bit later. Now that is bloody hard to talk about, I tell you that, guys. How epilepsy has affected me: it's affected me in 3 ways: physically, emotionally and mentally. Physically, obviously the attacks. I explained in the last video how attacks affect you. It's like your whole body tenses up to a point where you can't even imagine it, and your body starts to shake, and then for weeks after you're in pain, so on and so forth. I'll leave the last video I made in the video description, you can watch that if you like. But it was also other effects, like the the tablets I had to take to control the attacks, they left me feeling very drowsy, very tired all the time. I couldn't concentrate in school because I was always tired and fatigued, as to say. So it wasn't just the attacks that hurt me physically, it was also feeling tired and drowsy and dizzy and sick all the time because of the tablets I was on. So yeah, emotionally I lost a lot of friends, so I was very lonely at this critical point in time where when you're around 15, 16, you're finding out who you are, what sort of person you are, what you want to do when you're older, all that sort of stuff. And I'd lost all my friends at the time because my friends didn't understand what I had. So for example, they would invite me to go out clubbing and stuff, or go out somewhere, and I couldn't because I'd be too tired, or I couldn't go clubbing at the time because obviously I had epilepsy and you can't go out clubbing because of the lights and all that sort of stuff. They thought I was just dissing them and blowing them off, so they all eventually stopped talking to me. So emotionally it hurt me because I was lonely, and I admit it, I'm not ashamed to admit it, I was very lonely, and it made me very depressed. I was young and I was spending pretty much every day crying my eyes out. Now no one really knows about it, it's not even my family know how upset this actually made me, but I never showed it because I wanted to be strong so that my family didn't worry about me, obviously. So I was portraying one thing, but I was actually really devastated by what happened to me. And thirdly, it affected me mentally. Now obviously when my friends all dissed me and stuff, I started to get a lack of confidence because I felt like it was my fault that people were ignoring me. So I started to get paranoid then, blame myself for stuff, paranoid about other people. I had no trust for anyone because obviously I'd been hurt by them people when they ignored me, so I had no trust in pretty much anything at all, and I still suffer to this day with those insecurities. And I was also very petrified of groups of people, because I put this down to, because after school then, after this attack happened, for a couple of months after that, these guys would come down and stand outside the school every single day, and I was so petrified that I couldn't even get up to walk outside my school. I had to call my brother or my dad to come and pick me up. Now I lived less than a mile away, and I had to get my dad or my brother to pick me up because I was that petrified of these people. So it affects you in a lot of ways, I'm telling you. People just think it's just like attacks and that's it, but there's so much more behind it. There's different circumstances for different people. Now I'm not doing this commentary for attention or anything, guys, so please don't see it that way. I'm just telling you the straight up honest facts of what happened to me. Now I'm going to break it down into different sections of life. Firstly, obviously I was in school at the time, and these attacks happened during my GCSE exams, which when I started having attacks was at the same time as when my exam started, so I then failed pretty much all my exams. I got 4 A to C's. Now to get into college over here in the UK you need at least 5 A to C's. So straight when that happened I was devastated because I thought I wasn't going to go to college, I wasn't going to go to university. But college gave me special circumstances and they let me in, and I was ecstatic, I was so happy. I went to college, and for the first year everything was fine. I was dealing with my attacks, I was gaining my confidence back. I even had a girlfriend at the time, and that will tie into something a bit later. But again at college, when it got to the first set of exams, I started having more attacks, and I think it was just down to pure stress. And I knew in my mind that an exam period of time was so stressful that it caused me to have fits last time in my GCSEs, and it did the same for college as well. So I made the decision to leave college at after that first year, because you do 2 years at college, I think. I can't even remember anymore. But I decided to leave after the first year and just go out and into the working world and do jobs. And my epilepsy also affected me there, obviously, because I failed my exams and I didn't go to college fully, and I didn't go to university. I didn't get any jobs that I wanted. Now when I was younger I always wanted to work as a school teacher because I am excellent with kids, and everyone who knows me knows this about me. I'm amazing with kids. And at the time of when I got my epilepsy, the doctor was very irresponsible and told me that I wouldn't be able to work with children because of my illness. Now that wasn't true, but for me that was it. As soon as I heard that, I switched that idea out of my mind. So I missed out on doing something that I would have loved to have done because of one irresponsible person who should have told me otherwise than what he did. So yeah, I ended up working very, very dead-end jobs, supermarkets, call centres, all that sort of crap jobs, and it just wasn't satisfying to me. So I was getting depressed again because I wasn't fulfilling anything. I wasn't excited about what I was doing, and I got very, very bored and upset about each job, and I probably ended up leaving every single job I've ever had because of the same reason, because I just didn't feel like I fit in there. I didn't feel happy about what I was doing. So yeah, it's also affected me in my jobs. And back to that girl I was talking about in college, epilepsy has obviously also affected my relationships with girls, because how many girls do you know at a young age, 15, 16, 17, whatever, wants to be with a guy who's got something like epilepsy? Because I don't know many, I'm telling you. The girl I had at college, we were together I think 6 months, maybe 7 months, and when it got towards the end of the 7 months, she actually started cheating on me because I couldn't go out clubbing with her. Then she went out clubbing, getting drunk and kissing other guys, and she ended up cheating on me. And then that broke my trust in all girls, to be honest. I know it shouldn't, I know not all girls are the same, but I've had other girls do the same thing because of the same reason. So it's actually affected me in relationships as well. My social life, obviously I can't go clubbing. Well, I couldn't go clubbing. I can go clubbing now. You've obviously, I mean, some of you probably seen the pictures on Facebook and stuff of me out with my mates and all that. So this is just like a period of time, let's say 15 to 22 years old maybe, because I started getting my life together at about 22 years old. And what the biggest thing for me was in my social life is that epilepsy stopped me driving. Now, over here in the UK, you can get your provisional at 17, and you start learning to drive at 18. So for me, not being able to drive was a massive, massive thing, because I really, really wanted to drive. I looked up to my brother. My brother was driving, he was a boy racer, and that's what I wanted to do, but the DVLA actually stopped me from learning how to drive. And then when they did start to let me learn how to drive, I was in a period of time when I was bored of my jobs, so I didn't have money to pay for them lessons and stuff. So it was all like it's like a vicious circle. Everything was just affecting something else. And yeah, also in my family as well, talk about my brother, how my epilepsy affected me. This really, really got me down a lot of the time. Like, I have two brothers, two older brothers. I'm the youngest. One of my older brothers is, let's say, a failure in life. Like, he's not one who's succeeded in jobs and relationships and stuff, but he has succeeded in his own special way that he wanted to succeed in, if that makes sense. So he's not the most educated person and stuff, he hasn't got the best job in the world, but he's happy with what his life is. But then my other brother, who I look up to, he's got an excellent car, excellent job, he went to uni, passed all his exams and all that, he's got an amazing girlfriend. And when you look at it, you got one brother who's a failure, let's say, and then my other brother who's done really, really well in every aspect of his life, and then there was me. Now for me, I felt like I had to go one way or the other. I had to be like my successful brother or my failure brother. Now, because of the things I couldn't succeed in was because of my epilepsy, I couldn't go and do college and university and stuff. So that really, really got me down, because it was something else stopping me from being like my brother that I look up to. But then when I got around to about 22 years old, when I started getting my life together, I realised that I am my own person, and I started to forge my own character, my own personality, and I've been turning my life around since then, and it's coming together now. Everything seems to be coming full circle, where I'm going to do my security work and stuff. Hopefully next year I'm going to start learning how to drive. So things have turned around towards the end, but my epilepsy has affected me my entire life. It affects me every day. It's stuff I think about in my mind, like how my life would be different if it never happened. And that's what I mean. How it still affects me today is I sit there and I think about the times when I was in hospital, when I was first diagnosed with it, and I had to go and have tests, and I had an ECG test. I think it's ECG, where they stick all these little electrode things to your head and then monitor your brain waves. I remember having to stay up all night when I was 16 years old and going to hospital and falling asleep so they can measure my brain waves. I remember the cold, because it was about December when I had my first test. I remember how cold it was when I went to the hospital with my mum. I can still remember the fight that happened. I can still picture it all in my mind, and this goes through my mind pretty much all the time. Now, that's probably not a very healthy thing to say, but it's how I deal with it in a way, by imagining it and thinking about it and keeping it in my mind. I know that sounds very, very weird, but it works for me, so yeah. But there is good stuff from it, guys, don't get me wrong. It was a bad part of my life, but there was also good things came from it, because I had to grow up very, very quick. When I was 15, 16 and this happened, I had to grow up and be a 22-year-old instantly. I had to gain wisdom and intelligence about what was happening to me. I had to grow up. I had to realise what people were really like, because otherwise it would have crushed me. I had to realise that people were ignorant to things. I then sat on the internet for a very, very long time, researching stuff, learning new stuff. That's how I built my intelligence up, was through the internet. And that is all who I am today. And I'm also a very, very honest person, and that is because I've been lied to by so many people in my life. So from the experience of having the epilepsy and people lying to me, ignoring me, people treating me like a dickhead, I have grown into the person I am today. So in a sense, my epilepsy made me who I am today. So it's sort of the best thing and the worst thing that's ever happened to me, because I wouldn't change who I am today. I'm a excellent, genuine, honest person. I'm a great friend. I'm loyal, respectful. I am who I am. I know it sounds like I got a big ego, but my epilepsy made me who I am. So yeah, I also have a great relationship with my mum. Now, I know that's pretty weird to say, because you should have a great relationship with your mum, but who knows, if I hadn't had that epilepsy and me and my mum wasn't going backwards and forwards to the hospital every single week or month or whatever, me and my mum might not be as close as we are today. So I have to be thankful to my epilepsy as well as hate what it done to me. So yeah, and it's also the reason why I game, guys. Why I'm a gamer, because gaming before my epilepsy came into my life was the only thing I was ever good at. Now, the doctors actually advised me never to game again, because I was playing on a PC at the time, and the refresh rate on a TV would set off my attacks and stuff. But for some reason, my whole body and brain, eyes just adjusted to it, and I refused to let gaming disappear from my life. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be an experienced gamer. I wouldn't be who I am today without my epilepsy. But I also hate it at the same time. But guys, if I have anything to take from this, guys, the one thing you should take is that don't let anything or anyone stop you doing what you can do. Because a disability is only a disability if you let it, and unfortunately I let it become a disability, and it was just because I was so young at the time. But guys, if you have any disabilities, any problems or that, guys, just look at it as a hurdle, and you got to jump that hurdle. So yeah, that's my story, guys. I know it's a bit long. I don't know what gameplay is going to be in the background, I really don't. Please leave some comments, likes and favourites, whatever you want to do, guys. Ask me questions, I will respond to you as soon as I possibly can. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to this. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out, guys. Take care.